All right, y'all, before we really get started with our topic for today, which is asking different questions about Jesus being human, and did he do certain things because he could perform miracles and he could, turn stones into food, and we'll get into all those kind of what did Jesus do as a human kind of questions in just a little bit. But before we get there, we're going to have a Brainrot quiz for the team. With me, we have Zeke, Justin, Blake, Mariah, Mackenzie, and Isaac. And
John Isaac.
And John Isaac, yes, the newest member of the team. We're going to have a Brainrot quiz. And if you don't know what Brainrot is, it's basically Gen Z or Gen Alpha slang. And so we're going to see how good our group does, and then we'll roll into the main topic of the episode. All right, Zeke, are we ready?
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, let's roll.
All right. Same one.
Brainrot quiz, fill in the blank edition. If you get 7 out of 7, you are a Sigma. Number 1, sticking out your gyat for the blank.
Okay.
I'm going with homies.
I was going to say similar boys for the boys.
For the boys, for the homies. Okay. Justin?
That would be sticking out your gat for the Rizzler.
Yep, he's right.
Okay.
You're so skibbity. You're so
No, stop.
fantastic.
Stop. We got others. All right, Zeke, go on.
That is the correct answer.
It should pick it up.
If you said the Rizzler, you got Skibidi Sigma.
Yes.
Am 5'8" at 16 years old, am I blank?
What the heck?
Whoa.
I don't even know that
I don't
one.
know that one. I'm 5'8" at 16 years old, and
Am I cooked?
I'm cooked, yeah. Am I cooked?
Let's go.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm cooked. Yeah, I'm cooked. Did you know that?
If you said cooked,
Yeah.
you are goaded.
Good
Wow.
job.
Did you say
Earn. What the blank?
I know that one too.
Oh, this is easy.
Heck?
Frick.
What the heck?
No.
What the Sigma?
Yeah. What the Sigma?
I did not know that one. What is Sigma?
Where y'all hear this?
If you said Sigma,
Yes.
you are correct. Number 4, you're so skibidi, you're so blank.
Easy.
Hot.
Ooh, that was close.
Is it hot? I don't know.
I don't know.
This is
Mariah,
better.
do you want to take a guess?
You're so skippy.
Here,
I don't know.
I know it.
go for it, Justin.
Toilet or something?
You're so toilet.
You're so skibbity. You're so phantom tax.
No, it's you're so popular.
Nope, you're so phantom tax.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Popular.
If you said phantom,
Oh,
Dang, Justin
more than
pulled
Blake.
ahead.
I was thinking of the song.
Blake,
The song
I think
says-
we got to take
I'm a
the
step
title
closer.
from you and give it to Justin.
I'm a step closer to being
So
a Sigma
currently,
Blake.
it's Blake 3, Justin 4.
No.
So
You're so popular. I was thinking of the song.
number 5, boy, it's just blank.
Mackenzie, Isaac, any guesses?
No.
This stuff is so bad. I don't know.
This is harder than Wordle.
Boy, it's just
I don't know.
Bad.
sauce. I don't know.
It's bad.
Huh?
Justin or
It's
Blake?
just fire.
If it's
Mariah, you got any guesses?
I don't know.
Boy,
It's not Riz, I don't think. I don't know.
Boy, it's just
see, it's
Kai Cenat. Boy, it's just Kai Cenat.
either that or like it sounds like it's
What
meant to be
language are we
kind of
speaking?
bad, and if it's bad, it's typically Ohio.
Boy, it's just Ohio? No,
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Let's do Boy, it's Kai Cenat. That's
That-
definitely
what's
not
your
it.
Seriously,
answer?
it doesn't
I guess
sound
I'll say
like
that
words.
too.
Okay.
Boy, it's just Kai Cenat.
If I was right.
It's alcohol.
What?
Number 6,
I
I
don't know that one.
never heard
I
it.
can't
know what
talk.
you-
I'm blank.
Okay, here's the next
Did you
one.
I
pre-watch
can't
these?
talk,
Yeah.
I'm blank.
Because these might be inappropriate. Can't talk, I'm...
He'll edit it out.
Is it edging?
I'm drunk.
I don't know.
I bet it's edging.
I bet it's edging. Yeah.
If you said mewing.
Dang, y'all suck.
Finally, number 7, I blank all of you.
I edge all of you.
It sounds like you're the inappropriate one.
No, because that's a brain rot term. Edging is goaded.
Yeah, I
That's a
know.
brain rot term.
What is it?
That's Blake's favorite.
I won't.
Ohio? I'm scared. Phantom tax? I don't know.
Hey, hold on, time out.
I don't think it's
Do
repeating
y'all want to
any of them.
explain to Mackenzie what edging is?
No.
I
Good.
would
Her
love
husband,
to.
Her husband can explain that. He knows what that is.
Just give me a
No.
general.
Just whisper it in her ear.
You can.
It can happen after the episode. All right, go on.
Oh, did y'all? What's y'all's guess?
I don't know.
I don't think they're repeating any of the words, by the way.
I'm gonna guess edge. I edge all of you.
It's not that.
I don't think
I
it's
think
that,
it's-
Justin.
I think it's Akai Sanat I'll use.
It's not Ikai Sanat. I riz all of you.
Yeah, riz all of you,
I
maybe.
riz all of you.
It could be
Is
that.
that your guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Watch it be a bad word.
It's Mog.
What?
Mog.
What's that?
Mogging, when you mog somebody. Okay, how do I put this?
I'm not a
That's
sinner.
definition.
What a definition when you mog somebody.
No. Okay, I'm trying to figure out. Like, think about it if, like, you Randy Moss someone.
What is that?
Not in the sense of, like, catching a football over somebody, but you mog on them. So mogging is like...
You beat them.
Dunking on?
No, it's kind of like you're like, you
Flexing?
show them
Flexing?
love.
Yeah, you flex
Yeah, you
on them?
flex
What?
on them.
It's like
Okay.
Is
moss.
that am I right?
I'm
Mog?
guessing that's
Man,
not
like
the
you
same
were
thing.
No,
This
man,
says
man of God is not.
this says
no,
it's
no,
man
yeah.
of God.
No.
What is
Mog-
Mog in slang? It still says man of God.
Okay. All right, Zeke, was that the quiz?
I got one more. That's
Being
one
more
more.
physically attractive
Okay.
than
Than others.
others.
Yeah, it's like you're better than. Like,
Let's
you're
go
like-
ahead
yeah.
with it.
Okay.
Mogging.
All right, last one.
Brainrot quiz.
Okay.
If you get 6 out of 6, your brain is cooked. Number 1. What is the practice of good tongue posture?
Mewing.
Yeah, it's mewing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mewing. When you like.
If you got mewing, you are a Sigma.
Yes.
Number 2. What is the term for someone who can pull any girl easily?
Rizzler.
Rizzler, bruh. That's goaded, bruh.
That's goaded.
If you got the Rizzler, you are correct. Number 3. What is the name of someone who
Oh.
is better and more masculine than an alpha?
Oh, I got it. Sigma.
Sigma, bro.
Hard to say.
That one.
Number 4. Who is the leader of the TikTok Riz party?
Kai Cenat.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's Kai
I
Cenat.
don't think so.
I think it's Kai Cenat.
You are going to.
Taylor Swift.
Do you know it?
I saw it earlier.
If you said Blue Tie Kid, you are correct.
I never heard that.
Number 5. Who said What the Sigma for the first time?
Oh, I have no idea.
Every annoying kid at the same time.
What the Sigma? Kai Cenat.
That was my guess.
It's Squidward. And finally, number
Oh!
6.
What?
The meme. So the AI generated voice.
Sigma?
Yeah, what the Sigma? That was yeah, it was the first ever meme of that. It's an AI generated Squidward and it goes, what the Sigma? Yeah.
I think this is the last one.
Streamer is the skinniest and doesn't like food at all.
Nick Avocado.
It's queso.
Queso.
It's
yeah.
queso.
Never heard of him.
He's
It's
hilarious.
queso.
Yeah.
Let me know your score.
By the way, it's the
funny.
opposite. He's a big old boy.
All right. So
Like
for
me,
those
I
of
said.
you
He's skinny now.
who managed to make it through all that, that is some Gen Z slang for you, or Gen Alpha vocabulary, whatever.
My brain hurts.
But all right, let's roll into the topic for today, which is Jesus's humanity. Now, Jesus being fully God, fully man meant that
Total Sigma.
oh boy, meant that he could do certain things that we can't. And so, do we have any Jesus-related questions? Any questions about how he lived or things you're curious about with him being Jesus on earth?
Well, this is, I guess I'd have to say, my first question. If Jesus could walk on water, could he also swim on land? I guess that is my first question. Mr. Williams, what do you have to say about that?
I would have died if Nate would have went, I'll give you one better. Why, Jesus?
When you say swim, do you mean like he's like half, like in Minecraft, like he's half and half in the earth swimming, or like just on top of it?
Yeah, I mean, what does it look like?
How do you think
Yeah, is he
swimming is?
floating?
Is,
like,
is he
over the
swimming?
land?
Like, or is he half in the land?
It's just kind of like he's in the land. He's like, it's kind of like, he's doing the power strokes,
So is he leaving a hole as he goes? Like,
No.
like a plow?
No.
It just moves like the pixels move.
Oh.
Yeah. So here's the better question. Because that's the opposite of what Jesus did, that could be what the Antichrist does. Just saying.
All right, moving on from that.
15 questions.
One thing I was curious about, Jesus obviously high character, you could say perfect character. There were probably people who were interested in Jesus romantically. Now, obviously he couldn't get married. That wasn't why he was on earth and all the rest of it. But you have to imagine, let's say you're a wealthy father and you want someone good for your available daughter. Like, you'd imagine, hey, Jesus, you're probably not making a ton of money, have a lot of stability being a traveling rabbi, traveling speaker. So I'll set you up. You're a good man. You enjoy life with my daughter, maybe arranged marriage or whatever. I wonder how Jesus handled situations in that area of life.
I just kind of picture like they kind of do the offer like, hey, Jesus, you have all this money if you marry my daughter, and then just cue the Drake meme where he's going like, nah, from Hotline Bling, Jesus doing that move.
I bet Jesus did.
Well, I mean, would it not have been similar to like you wouldn't have just asked him because people thought he was a prophet? Or are you saying like before he started his ministry?
Yeah, so think about it. Jesus was a young man going through I guess what we would consider young adult, college age type years before he began his official ministry. Mm-hmm. So you got to know he was, at least on the surface, it seemed like he was available, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering how he handled those situations to let people down easy.
I think I've already answered that question.
Yes, you gave an answer. Sure,
I would really love to believe he would like kind of do like what you do, and you could do like that smile nod, and he'd be like, "I'm gonna answer your question, but look over there," and like make him look, and then when they turn back, he's like, "Yeah," he just
run away,
runs away, or he just disappears. I don't know.
So those are the kind of things I'm wondering. Jesus being human, the situations he encountered,
or it could have been like the situation where they're trying to throw him off a cliff, and he's just like, "I'm good," and then just walks through the crowd. He just walks away, and
that's kind of I've never thought about that. So like every time I hear that story, I'm like, were they screaming at him? Like they had every intent to throw him off this cliff, and he just goes, "Nah," like just walks through the crowd.
What do you think happened in that situation?
Well,
I don't know.
Didn't fall off a cliff. So,
well, he was never thrown off a cliff. Justin.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't fall off the cliff.
That's what I'm saying.
He wouldn't have fallen. He said
thrown. People were about to throw him off, and then he just stops them somehow.
He just went, "No."
You guys are thinking a little bit too much about what I'm saying. He walked away, so he didn't fall off the cliff. That was the point. When
they were going to throw him off
Justin,
the cliff.
If everyone's surrounding you around a cliff and they're about to push you off,
on purpose, Zeke.
It's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, you really had us convinced there, dude.
All right.
You were doing really good. You were way too in character right there.
Good job.
Mariah, you have something?
Something I've always thought about is when he was more of a young child, like obviously young children are like known to misbehave, but I always thought that, did Jesus ever misbehave or not ever?
Did Jesus come home past curfew?
Yeah.
Did Jesus have a curfew?
Ooh.
Well, he
did.
Did he come home past curfew?
Those are
one
great
time
questions.
Because, remember, he was left behind by his mom and dad.
Oh, they lost him, yeah.
And they get back and they're like, Jesus, what were you doing? Why'd you stay behind her? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm doing my father's will, woman. So there's plenty of times.
Justin?
Just kind of imagine like the thoughts that's going through Mary and Joseph's head, just like, there's no way I'm getting into heaven now. I done lost the Son of God.
Yes. And it's interesting because obviously in the Old Testament, we hear the words, honor your father and your mother, but Jesus was perfect. So I wonder how raising him through the teenage years was how often he corrected them, how often he said, hey, y'all, actually, you're wrong. But he had to say it super respectfully, right? To honor them. That's just wild to me.
I mean, there's also the situation of like all honoring God is above honoring anything else, right? So, if it came down to a choice between honoring God and honoring your parents, wouldn't you just choose God?
I don't think those two need to be set against each other.
They're never in conflict with each other.
You think never?
So I guess it would mean like, what do you mean by the word honor?
Bingo. That's
I'm asking
honor and obey. There's overlap, but they're not synonyms. So sometimes you can have earthly parents that will ask you to do wrong, misguided, or sinful things. And in fact, it honors them to hold them to a higher calling as mother and father. And that sometimes means you don't follow through with what they say. But that's because they're abusing the office of mom and dad. And so you are recognizing that, but that's not dishonoring them.
John Isaac, take notes.
Yeah. So John Isaac, you hold your mom and dad accountable. But yeah, things like that. So just very, very interesting. Any other thoughts in this realm?
You think
Jesus's humanity?
Do you think if him and Joseph ever got into it, he'd like hit Joseph with, "Well, you're not my dad," and like kind of walk away?
That's brutal.
Yeah, like, "You're not my dad." Like,
I don't know.
I feel like he would honor him.
That's tough. I don't know if he ever hit Joseph with those words.
Wasn't Joseph like believed to have died when Jesus was at a young age, or do we know?
I don't think we know. There's going to be tradition and things like that, but I'm not sure.
He at least wasn't around during his ministry, right?
No, I
At
don't
least we never
believe
hear
so.
about him.
I don't believe
That's
so.
another thing too. Like, do you think of Jesus at a young age? Did he hang out with kids his age?
Yeah, that's what
I imagine that's
Well, he
pretty
had cousins.
infuriating. Like, because you know how kids
And
talk.
siblings.
Yeah, but I mean, like, did Jesus actually like partake in the things that they did? Like, if a kid, for instance, back in then, I guess they played with sticks. If a kid stuck a stick up his nose, Jesus like, "I'm not gonna do that. That's kind of dumb." You know?
I don't.
Also, when did Jesus have his full repertoire of miracles?
What do you mean?
So, let's say as a teenager, you know, someone breaks their leg and he's on the spot. They're somewhere remote.
When did he do his first miracle? I thought that
Or-
was
or
at
just-
the wedding.
So the weddings, sure, that's recorded, but like, if someone broke his leg, you're off somewhere remote. Could Jesus, as like an 11-year-old, be like, "You're healed now"?
I feel like my answer would be he didn't. I'm the only thing I have to back that up is all the people in his hometown like rejected him. So I feel like they would be like, "Well, why didn't you do this when you were younger? If you could do healings and stuff now?" I feel like that would be a pretty good case for them,
Right.
to say, "Well, we grew up with this kid. He wasn't doing miracles and stuff then, and they may reject him for that reason." So I don't know. Maybe he
Some
did.
people
though.
are just haters, Zeke.
That's true. No prophets liked his hometown.
All right, now let's think about
Joe Biden.
brothers and sisters. What do y'all think it was like growing up with Jesus as your brother?
If you're Catholic, you don't believe he had any.
Yeah, that's true. So
We're not.
Okay, my bad.
no Catholics are listening to us.
Nah.
Also, on the honoring your mother and father thing, if you're Catholic, you don't believe Mary ever sinned. So he wouldn't have had to crazy.
Yes.
Didn't
Which
have that
is
problem.
I guess you just have to have those conversations with Joseph.
Why can't you be like, "Mom"?
That would be tough to have a perfect mother and a perfect son, and then you're the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like, just like, "What did I do to deserve this?" Like,
That would, I mean, that could lead to a lot of stress, and stress makes you die earlier in life.
Maybe.
And he potentially died earlier in life. So,
But Mary wasn't sinless.
Yeah, she wasn't.
well, there went my theory.
But anyways, all right. Jesus is your brother. We are Protestants. So Jesus is your brother. What do you think that was like?
probably
I'm not going to say anything.
it probably
Zeke, why don't you share?
No, that wasn't a good joke. It needs to stay in the old noggin.
it'd probably be like being friends with you. You get standing ovations.
You know what, Blake? Why
Just
don't
in
you
the
just
background of
can it?
everything.
All right, Justin.
You're always good at everything you
as-
touch.
Excuse me.
I'm speaking now.
I was shushing Blake. Don't tell me to get close. Shush. Okay, so what I was going to say before Mr. Ticho rudely interrupted. Also, I just butchered your last name, but that's
Why
okay.
would you tell them my last name anyways? Now they know who I am.
No one knows who you are.
I tag you on Instagram.
Yeah, way to go.
Dang it.
But I'd
thanks,
imagine coming from like a middle child, you're going to get constant middle child energy all
I
the
see
time.
that.
Yeah.
Because Jesus is going to be like the tippy top, of course.
Yeah.
So you're always a middle.
What about for the younger children?
Yeah.
The youngest child.
Still middle child.
I mean, yeah, that's, I mean, youngest
I'm not saying
child,
you will literally be the middle child, but you're going to have that middle child energy of like,
Hey, don't even. I've been friends with you for 10 years. I'm not going to let you sit here and pretend like you got middle child energy. You literally, your family, you are the golden apple of your family.
oh no, that
No,
was
you
my brother.
dude. No,
Oh,
you
say
are-
more. So he's like the golden child?
Dude, 100%. I can't name any other family that will literally go out of his way to have 7 different birthdays for him and show up to every single play. Like, you get to, like,
7
Justin,
different
you're-
birthdays. What are
Okay,
you
it's an
talking
exa-
about?
Justin, so maybe we should
exaggeration.
ask your siblings what it's like to grow up with you.
real.
Well, one of them you would have to do a seance, Nate. So you just let
Yes.
me know when you get the answers to that.
Oh, we can do that as
Don't
well.
even pull that card. You were.
It's not pulling a
We
card.
have a
My
golden
brother's
child.
It's a fact.
Don't pull the. Anyways, Mackenzie, we save the conversation. What thoughts did you have, Mackenzie?
Help us.
I was just gonna say, I feel like everybody always says like they feel like they would get overlooked, but I feel like Jesus would be such a cool sibling to have because he'd be so loving. Like you couldn't. I feel like it would be so hard to hate him. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
in
people
one
did.
hand,
I'm not
he
saying
probably would get a lot of the attention, maybe, but in the same, like he gives you so much. I don't know. You know.
It wouldn't
I
be
feel
like
like you'd be really
prideful.
close. Yeah,
I
like he
could see
wouldn't
it
be
both
like,
ways,
"Ha
though.
ha, I got all the attention." He'd just be like, "I love you."
I feel like Jesus would have let me hang out with him and his friends
Probably.
when he was younger.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, I have a question about the type of goodness that Jesus was as a kid. Was he the annoying, goody two-shoes, tattletale type of good? Or was he the chill, cool kind of good of just, you know...
Chill.
I don't understand how he would be a taddletale because he would know.
Well,
everything.
if someone disobeys
know
mom and
everything.
dad,
Well,
he's got to let them know that that the siblings are not listening to them.
He would be the
I
perfect
think
type
he
of
would.
guy.
I think he would do it subtly. Like, man, it'd be a real shame if somebody broke mom and dad's rules and then look at his siblings. Like, not go straight to mom and dad,
Passive
but just be like, kind of convicted.
Yeah,
Just
it'd be
kinda
a shame
convicting
if
'em a
someone
little
killed the
bit.
family cow.
No, that was not.
Not
No,
passive aggressive, just calmly, like
that's
very,
not the
like,
Jesus I
more
want.
poetic. No,
I
even
mean-
as a young child.
Not passive aggressive, but just like letting them know, like, I know.
Did he?
Like,
yeah.
You can
Like,
tell
calmly.
them.
Did he flip the tables at home before he ever did in the temple?
Because he already not predetermined, but he knew that he was going to have to die on the cross. Do you think he ever just like that passive aggressiveness where someone's like he has a friend, he's like, I would never hurt your trust, and he goes, like just kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Or alternatively, now this gets a little dark, but let's say he had.
Jesus here.
So let's say he has a friend and he
I'm
knows
trying to be careful with my words.
he has a friend and he knows the friend, let's say, doesn't have the longest to live. Let's say there's going to be an accident or there's going to be something 5-10 years from now.
Lazarus.
And so then he's talking with his friend as a kid, and the kid's like, oh, I can't wait when I get older. I'm going to do da, 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 da. And Jesus is sitting there like, anyways, knowing people's futures.
And that's when he hits him with a, I love you.
That kind of goes into the.
Does that make sense? He knows
Yeah.
what's going to happen to people.
Right.
But I mean, on the one hand, my initial thought would be like, oh, Jesus would be like calm and collective and like more modern word stoic. But at the same time, like we also have, because he knows what's going to happen and like he'd be prepared for it, whereas we are caught off guard sometimes. But then you have accounts where Jesus weeps for, even though he's literally about to bring the guy back to life. Like, why was he weeping in that scene with Mary and Martha? I'm asking a question. Why was he weeping?
Zeke, sometimes your questions take a moment to think through. I can't chat GPT spit out an answer, so that's good. I think he can weep even if he knows how things are going to be, because one, he loves them and sees pain and their suffering, but also with the attribute of empathy. He can also feel their pain as well when you know what someone's going through. So it's like all of us at a funeral for a Christian. You know you're going to see him again. You know the end of the story. I said funeral for a Christian, Blake.
Well,
So you know what's going to happen, but you can still cry real tears at the funeral because it's still heartbreaking in the moment. Even though it's like, I know I'm going to see you again. So I imagine that's how it was for Jesus. But
he's the one who said
forgive me the few seconds it
You're
took
not
for me to
allowed- no.
think through
No,
things.
you never think.
what do you think?
Also, along the lines of some of those questions and what's going to happen, I wonder when Jesus first learned he was going to have to die on the cross. Because think about it, when he's like a little baby, there are some aspects of adulthood he's just not going to be thinking about at that time. He's a baby. But then at some point, you know, that was revealed to him in some supernatural way. That would have just been very interesting to be like, oh, I'm on earth and I'm doing these things. Stuff like that. Isaac?
We keep saying that Jesus y'all are like, well, Jesus knew everything, but what if he didn't? Like, what if he was limited, like, he was humbled or whatever, and he only knew what God told him. So maybe he knew Lazarus was going to die, but he didn't know, like, his best friend Johnny was going to die in 5 years because, God didn't tell him.
Is that from that what is it called?
Kenosis, emptying. Yeah. And so, Isaac, that brings up a great question. Jesus knew a lot. Just how much did he know? And so that's a great point, that maybe he didn't know everyone's futures. Maybe he purposefully limited himself in some ways. I'd imagine that's a real possibility. But then also, what's up?
I feel like that he kind of not had to, but like in a sense, he had to be fully human because if he just went around and he knew literally everything, we don't know everything. Like, we're limited in our...
Speak for yourself.
Okay, my bad. Most of us don't know everything. So, like, isn't that part of being human? I don't know. Was that a requirement?
True.
Having to trust God, or
Yeah.
part of being human is like trusting God, right?
Even
And,
when
like,
we don't
having
have all
faith
the
and stuff.
answers.
But also, with some of that divine nature, he could do miracles as well.
Yeah.
We also have to remember, though, that he's not just a human. Like, he's, God in the flesh.
Yeah.
But he didn't know certain things, like he didn't know the day or the time he'd come back.
Well,
we're saying,
but
like,
that's speculation. That's it. It could. I've heard two
there's just
answers.
scripture.
I've heard two answers to that, where it's he doesn't actually know, or it's not for us to know.
Well, he says,
Well, if he was... He
I
said,
don't know.
I don't know.
He almost got in a fight on Sunday. I was more just talking to some buddies, but that's okay. He almost
Justin,
got in a
we're
fight.
on a podcast episode.
Shush.
He's very touchy. He's running on 3 hours of sleep.
Oh, that's true.
I'm very
Be
tired.
very-
Justin, we
very
have a lot of
careful.
patience with you and for you. For you.
But don't worry. Love isn't patient and kind. So.
Yeah.
Yes. We just watched a mockumentary last night, and we learned about love. It's not patient or kind. Anyways, Justin, go on with your thoughts that you were delivering in a peaceful manner.
Now I've forgotten. Oh no, wait, yeah. Blake
Sunday
almost
school.
got in a fight with the other Sunday school teacher over that topic. So just
did not almost get in a
just
fight.
be careful.
Was it a knockout dragout fight?
He was aggressive. Like, oh my gosh, this woman was in fear for her life.
y'all have women teaching Sunday school?
Yeah, we do.
Wow. I'm just kidding.
And so
She listens to this podcast. Hey, Corey.
I think, all right, anything else along these lines, like knowledge or lack of, any other questions or topics, and then I'll move on to the next one.
Did you want to plead your case on why Jesus knew everything, but he said he didn't?
Well, I think, like, I don't know. To me, he knew so much, and there was an aspect.
It sounded like the start of a Michael Scott quote.
I know, it's like he knew so much, so therefore he has to know. But I don't know. I've heard both sides of the argument. I just can't with him, because he predicted so much. He predicted his death. He obviously knew his death. He knew things that no one else knew. So why then do we draw the line whenever he says, well, only the Father knows? But then that would kind of take away, like, I've heard arguments where it says that takes away the all-knowingness of
Well,
Jesus.
the theological train of thought comes from Philippians and the kenosis term you mentioned earlier, that just he decided this was voluntary. While on earth, he limited some of his knowledge. Now, does he ultimately know those things? Yes. But while on earth, he kept that from himself.
Like, Jesus as divine would have known it, but as human, he wouldn't have. The same way, like, we could, say the same argument of, Jesus is God, so does he need food? Well, divinely, no, but as a human, he does.
Correct.
He needs drink, he needs sleep, he needs those things. So as a human, he chose not to know those things, just how he chose to become human and still need to eat and drink and all these things.
Anything else on these topics? And then I'll move over to what we'll term, off of a pastoral comment earlier, superhero Jesus in a moment. Any other thing on knowledge or growing up or childhood? All right. Now, this is where people are against me. I'm just curious.
Because you're
We've
wrong.
prefaced some of these things before the start of the episode. All right. So Jesus had access to abilities we don't. Okay. So obviously he could create and multiply food. He could heal. He could transport, move quickly. He could walk on water, things like that. Just being God, he has certain abilities that we don't. Mm-hmm. Did he ever use those abilities when no one was looking? All right, here's what I mean, okay? He has to walk, let's say, a couple miles by himself somewhere. Now, could he just be like, you know what? Beam me up, Scotty, and get to his destination fast with no one looking? Yes. Justin's with me, which kind of concerns me. That's probably a mark against this. And then, okay, let's say food. He comes home at night, very tired, doesn't feel like, starting a fire or whatever, boiling water and all the rest of it. And so he's like, all right, no one's around me. I'm just gonna, bam, have some food right there. Things like that. All right. Does anyone else that he used some of those abilities when no one was looking? Justin?
I'm just saying, the Book of Mormon does prove the beam me up Scotty theory. Because he just went up to heaven and boom, was right to America.
All right. That did not happen. Blake?
I mean, as a joke, it's funny to think about things like that. But, I mean, I always think of I think it's Philippians. Is it Philippians? Yeah, Philippians 2, 3 through 8. And I should pull that up so I can read it verbatim. But
I think that's a great idea.
Oh, okay, where's my phone?
Under your butt.
All right, so as Blake is looking up Philippians 2, any other thoughts when no one was looking? Mariah?
I just don't think that would have happened just because...
Come on.
I don't know.
Y'all have no imagination.
I think
I didn't say you couldn't. I just said I don't think it
that
happened.
seems not serious. It seems silly. I don't know if that would have been, a thing that went on.
All right, Blake?
I got it. So, 3 through 8. So, I'll start in verse 3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit.
Yes.
Yeah, it's conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but to the other interests of others. In your relationship with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus. And so, what was that mindset? Who, being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, and being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as man, he humbled himself, becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross.
Yeah, I think, like Mariah said, it's kind of funny to think about, but I don't think he really was, into taking shortcuts. I feel like that's kind of shortcutty.
Yeah, no,
and he's kind of like, well, I'm here for a purpose. I'm not, got to do it as a human would do. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But think about it with multiplying the bread and the fish.
But
But those all served a purpose.
All those things.
I think
He
that's the
made
difference.
food for
Those
people.
point back to God. If he's just doing it for himself, I'm really
Nate,
hungry. I could use the extra
I,
fish on
I
this
think
plate.
you know you're wrong
know what I mean?
when three things happen. One, when Justin is immediately on board.
Yes.
Two, when
Accurate.
the Book of Mormon is on board with you.
Yes.
And then
right.
three, whenever these are the same things that the devil asked him to do. So
it's very true.
That's true.
That's a
That's
great
true.
comment.
Okay. But also...
But hear me out.
But also, Isaac?
This sounds like I saw one talk where, who's that famous Britain guy with bald hair?
A lot of British people.
What does he do?
He was talking and somebody was like, how do you serve a God that doesn't want you to know stuff
Does he
or
sound
something?
like Winnie the Pooh?
And he was like, that's funny because it was first asked by a snake.
Oh, John Lennox.
He was Richard Dawkins. Was he talking to Dawkins?
I can't remember. No, it was like a forum or something.
Was it Hitchens?
No, it was the moderator who asked the question, I think.
This reminds me of,
that's
that's you, Nate. It's funny that you would ask this because this snake has already asked this.
It was like a mic drop moment.
It was great. I've watched the clip.
He sounds like Winnie the Pooh. John Lennox, he does.
I've never noticed.
I believe it's
Maybe you watched too
Weenie the Pooh.
Maybe you watched
Thank
too
very
much Winnie the Pooh.
Maybe.
It's Weenie.
It's not Weenie.
All right, the maturity level of the conversation has dropped. But anyways,
What a name.
all right, anything else about Jesus being human and what that must have been like, or being around Jesus, or whatever stage of life Jesus was in?
What do you think he like? Obviously, all that walking, I feel like he'd be in very great, he'd be in really good shape. But
So-
why is he always depicted with like this amazing like 6-pack abs when he's on the cross? Can someone please answer me? First off,
My guess
if
is
he
he
did
was in
crunches,
phenomenal-
What is Jesus' routine?
Phenomenal shape.
What would the perfect man look like?
Oof.
They said, but Jesus,
That's
but they
why.
said Jesus wasn't like there wasn't anything like astonishing about him?
Isaiah, yeah.
Because they couldn't see his abs.
Oh, the abs were hidden.
I mean,
Isaac with the new interpretation of Isaiah 50 at 53. It's like the suffering servant. You only think that because you don't see the abs.
now
Don't bring that up.
to play Nate Advocate or Devil's Advocate, whichever one you want to go with today.
I like that.
But
Heretic.
I mean, he worked with his hands. He was a carpenter before, so I mean, like,
He's got big forearms.
would the
We know
average
that.
person that day be in good enough shape to have abs naturally? It would be my question.
Probably, and he
I
probably
don't know.
ate pretty clean. I feel like
You're
Jesus
doing
would
so
have
much
been.
physical.
He might have the perfect build to be like a jiu-jitsu master. Like
Maybe.
grip strength,
Sure.
cardio, the hair.
Sure.
Jesus,
Well, I don't know how
Jesus
hair
could've
helps
won.
you with that.
I'm not sure where the hair comes
For some
in.
reason, people with really long hair in jiu-jitsu just dominate.
Is that why you keep yours long?
I don't dominate anything.
Okay.
I'm just lazy and can't get a haircut.
Okay.
All right. Anything else Jesus related? This is the time to ask some of these questions that are like you get curious about.
Justin.
Okay. All right. So while I'm
I already said
Well-
the Mormon thing. That's
while
all I
I'm
need to
busy
say.
being blasted as a heretic, final thing. Can you imagine how he could prank people? Jesus, with his abilities,
wouldn't
could
have.
come up with the most legendary pranks ever. Like you go put something in a room and then he like moves it somewhere else and you think, am I going crazy? No, Jesus pranked you.
He wouldn't have.
So you're saying Jesus had no sense of humor?
I didn't say he didn't have sense
That's-
of humor.
that's exactly
I said
what
he
you
would-
said.
I don't think he would have deceived people,
Instead
Nate.
of
Pranks
God is
are
not a God
funny.
of deception.
Pranks are funny.
So
Hush.
you
water
think
into
Jesus was a
wine, water into
gaslighter?
snakes.
I
Saying
think
no, that water bottle wasn't in there.
Jesus, I think would have made a great prankster.
I think he. I imagine he probably definitely told jokes or stuff like that, or joked around with people. I think that's something. I wish
yeah.
we got like an account of that. I can't think of one that we get in scriptures where he's cutting up with someone, but I could see. Oh wait, Sons of Thunder. That's kind of. I could see that being kind of like a
Yeah.
inside joke. I don't know.
Yeah, and then his play on words in Matthew 16 about Peter being the rock.
Hey, easy there.
Hey, we're
That's why he's the Pope.
Like the Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
yes, but more the Peter. The Greek word is Petros, and then
That's what I put in my car.
Yep.
but anyways, it's just a play on words with rock, and Catholics and Protestants have different interpretations of Matthew 16, that passage. But anyways, yeah, just play on words with rock, which is part of his at least humor, wit, and puns and all the rest of it. But anyways, y'all, I've enjoyed this, even though y'all have called me a heretic. I
Hey,
forgive all of you.
This is a
Blake,
Jesus-related question. Why did Jesus fight the Aztecs?
say that again.
It was the Mayans in the Book of Mormon. They're actually called something different. I can't remember what they're called.
Why did he do that?
They're-
Because that never happened.
So what he's referring to at the
Don't name drop it, Justin.
it's if I say the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, there's about 5 bajillion of them all over the United States. So I think I'm good.
we recognize you are referring to them.
Okay. Good.
Yes. But anyways, we do not subscribe to Catholic theology or Mormon theology. Go ahead.
Oh no, I don't even want to explain it now.
Justin's like,
Nate. Every time, dude.
I don't even want to explain it now.
Cut people off.
Yeah, I can't wait till that just blows up in your face one day. Because it will. Just give it time.
I think it just did.
Oh no. I don't have near the sass that like an angry person coming up to you to debate
You're
you
pretty
will
sassy.
be.
Justin, you're very sassy.
You're very sassy.
Well, thank you.
Anyways, Justin with his Mormon theology. Any other thoughts? All right, Blake, you want to take us home? Jesus and his humanity. I hope you all enjoyed the Brainrot quiz. For those of you who have survived this episode, which are probably going to be like 2 people. Blake,
Probably not. That's high numbers.
I bet Chloe will.
There's not
Yeah,
even
it's just Chloe.
there's not even 2 people that listen to our podcast.
True. Blake, you want to take us home?
I've always pictured my Jesus wearing like a tuxedo, party tuxedo shirt.
Your Jesus?
How do you picture your Jesus, Justin?
Well, I like to picture my Jesus with angel's wings, singing Front Runner for Leonard Skinner.
I always picture Jesus as a small 8 pound. 5 ounce.
We should do an
Little baby
episode
Jesus.
on how people perceive Jesus versus how he really is. Because I think that's a big thing. in the
Oh,
South.
dude, that'd be huge. Yeah, a lot of the people in the South think Donald Trump. Oh my gosh, Donald Trump is Jesus.
There's a book that just came out recently.
I think it's interesting how most of the artwork depicted of Jesus is not what he actually would have looked like.
How would you know?
How would you know?
Yeah, were you
Because
there?
in that region of the
So,
world, they
he
were
was
dark
different.
skin, dark hair.
Yeah, he
Mariah, Jesus was white. He had blonde hair and blue eyes.
I've never seen a blonde-headed Jesus.
We have one.
Where?
was. Show it to you
We
after the
also
podcast.
have Rob Zombie Jesus here at our church.
We do. We
And
have a lot. Of
Auburn Jesus is the way I call one of the drawings. But anyways, Isaac, do you have any thoughts on blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white people? Are they the superior race, Isaac?
Considering you are one.
No.
Okay.
John Isaac.
Yeah, we'll have to get his thoughts on that.
At this time.
All right, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed some part of this
There was
episode.
nothing knowledgeable about
Glad
what
we
we
could
talked
waste
about
your time.
today.
This was meant to be a lighthearted, fun episode. So anyways, until next time, we'll talk with you later.